This is America 3 nights before Election Day. Philadelphia is a city silenced by COVID, shut down by curfew. The shops are boarded up, the streets deserted, and the National Guard are on the lookout for trouble. American election season is normally a frenzy of activity and noise. The slogans talk of American pride or hope and change. But this time around, it's the silence that gets you. There is an odd kind of darkness to the politics right now. You can blame the pandemic or that sense of civil public unrest. But I keep hearing this time that democracy is on the ballot. And I've come to find out what that even means. We could ask the question almost anywhere in this vast country, but we've come to Pennsylvania because, quite frankly, it's the place on everyone's mind.
Battleground, Pennsylvania is the biggest of the big blue states President Trump flipped 4 years ago.
And the president's set to hold rallies in 4 different parts of the state today.
My message is simple. Pennsylvania is critical in this election.
And if we win Pennsylvania, it's over. It's over.
So we begin our road trip in a place renowned for battle, Gettysburg. Adams County is deep Republican red. They helped turn the whole state Trump in 2016 by just 0.7%. We've been invited to meet Walt Tuchalski, who represents the local Republican Party, at a rally just outside town. The guest speaker today, one Donald Trump Jr.
And then we'll fix up roads and tunnels and bridges in Afghanistan that will be blown up 2 weeks later. I want to fix the roads in Pennsylvania.
But as soon as we start filming there, the atmosphere sours.
Why do you run to the And again, I've told you to stop recording and you've been recording again. So now I need to get law enforcement involved because you are still recording.
And with that, despite our invitation to attend,
We've asked you to leave. It's been over 5 minutes.
we're escorted off the premises. Something I've never experienced at a political event before.
You know, Pennsylvania's been a battleground state the last several elections.
Back at his offices, I catch up with Walt. He's been working with the party for decades, so is our experience the new normal?
I don't know these guys from Adam. I've never met them before, although I've seen them at other rallies, like the Lititz rally. They were there to help keep the crowd in their corrals. And when he said no foreign press, that made no sense to me. And I really don't know what to make of it beyond that.
So what have you loved about the last 4 years? What has he done that's made you come back for more?
For me, it's promises made, promises kept. He has told us what he was going to do in 2016, and he has tried to do it. Now, he's had to fight the Congress, he's had to fight the Senate, he's had to fight impeachment. Just imagine where our country would be today if instead of the establishment and the swamp fighting him, they would have joined in.
I want to know if Walt himself thinks democracy is on the ballot this time round. A lot of the Democrats, or a lot of voters, are really nervous when they hear Donald Trump refuse to recognize a peaceful transfer of power if he loses.
It's a little bit nuanced. There's a lot of media out there that says he is not going to leave peacefully.
Well, that was him, wasn't it? He refused to.
He didn't say quite that. What he says is, we'll have to see.
With just 72 hours to go, they're keen for all the support they can get.
Hey, Rita, check this out. This man has just come in to give us a box of Trump hats that we can sell to help pay the rent. All right.
Michelle has been Republican since she first door-knocked as a child for Richard Nixon. She tells me she fears the liberals and what they'll do to America's freedoms.
No, we just don't want to go along with, socialism. No, we like our guns. We like a lot of things. And I don't want to have to pay for somebody else's stuff when I've had to work for everything I got. It's like You're free to go work anywhere you want and get a job and go.
For her, America's division is pretty personal. Her little brother's on what she calls the wrong side.
What happens then if you and your brother talk politics?
Well, quite frankly, we probably won't talk for a few months. And we will yell and scream. And, you know, there might be a little, even though we're older, a little pushing.
And I'm thinking about Michelle, her brother, and countless other families feeling the strain as we head into the town that lives under the shadow of Republican America's favourite son. Gettysburg was the turning point in America's Civil War, a clash between Confederate South and the more metropolitan North.
And without pushing the metaphor too far, it was bloody and it was self-inflicted. To borrow the words often attributed to Abraham Lincoln, America will never be destroyed from the outside, he said. If we falter, it will be because we destroy ourselves.
So is America on a course of self-destruction right now? Seems a fitting question to ponder as we head east to Philadelphia, the largest city in Pennsylvania, the cradle of American democracy. It was here the Founding Fathers signed the Declaration of Independence and later the US Constitution. Here, in other words, the very foundations were laid.
America always finds a way to come together. And America, after this election, will find a way to come together.
And it's in a quiet suburb just outside the centre that I find Sean Taggart. He's a white, working-class male, demographically speaking, the backbone of the Trump vote last time round. But Sean is a Biden guy, and perhaps most controversially of all, a political optimist.
Sean, it's quite striking here. You've got a Trump-Pence sign up there and a Biden. These are very close neighbours, right?
Yes.
No problem?
No problem at all. For the majority of people in the city and from where we're standing right now in Northeast Philadelphia, people feel it's okay to disagree, you know, with politics. Everybody has their own interest, everybody has their own ideas and ideals, and for the most part, we get along. We get along as neighbors in a community. You know, the street we're standing on right now, we had a hero. We lost Officer Jimmy O'Connor in the Philadelphia Police Department who was murdered earlier this year. And that was a big hit to this community, in this street, in this neighborhood. And he was a friend of all of ours. So naturally, a lot of the police department, you know, and a lot of the cops are Republicans, and they back Donald Trump. Myself, in organized labor, I back Joe Biden. Still, we all seem to get along, we all care, we all love each other, and that's what this neighborhood's all about. It's community first here.
I don't know what this year's going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts.
Is it going to be quiet, you think, here in Halloween?
No.
Sean's wife, Erin, is more wary.
Whoever wins, I just think it's going to be problems. Unrest, yes.
What kind of unrest?
I think if Trump wins, Biden people are going to retaliate and, you know, probably protest. And if Biden wins, it's going to be the same thing.
Our American democracy was born here. And what we do this weekend and this next 4 days, we're going to save it here in Philadelphia. Now,
this morning's rally has brought the big Democrats to town to energise the blue-collar workers that turned this state red last time.
I just want to pick up on something that you said on the stage a second ago. The future of our democracy is at stake. Why do you say that?
Donald Trump is the first president in American history who I don't believe in his heart of hearts he's a small d Democrat. You look at the people he reveres on the international stage, they're all the dictators. They're the authoritarians.
You don't think he believes in American democracy?
I don't. I genuinely believe that this is the first president in American history who in his heart of hearts does not believe in democracy, who wishes that he could be an autocrat like the other strong men he reveres.
Delaware Senator Chris Coons, now tipped to be the next Secretary of State if Biden wins tomorrow, has more specific concerns.
Look, the Republican Party has honed the tools of voter suppression and of ballot manipulation over the last decade. Federal courts have concluded that in a dozen different states, they've changed the laws around voter ID, around the number of locations for voting, the timing of voting.
It sounds from what you're saying like you fear for democracy in America right now.
We are defined globally as a democracy that has had free and fair elections and a regular, peaceful transfer of power for over 200 years. Whether we are still the world's leading and most visible democracy is on the ballot on November 3rd here in the United States.
Do you not think that there will be a peaceful transfer of power?
We have a president who over and over has refused to publicly commit himself to accept the results of the election and to peaceably transfer power.
What he said,
I'm not concerned by what I'm saying, I'm concerned by what he's saying.
He said, let's see, didn't he? That was what he said.
Who says that? What president has ever said, we'll see, as opposed to, of course? Whenever the election is decided by our voters and our courts, I will accept the result. How is it acceptable for a president of the United States in a national debate to say, I don't know, peaceful transfer of power, we'll see?
Pennsylvanian law allows posted ballots sent before Election Day to be counted up to 3 days after November the 3rd. But remarks by President Trump suggesting it would be bedlam to have no result on election night have raised the spectre he won't wait for legitimate votes to be counted before self-declaring victory. Which may explain why, in diluvian end-of-days weather, the city's dotted with activists manning drop-in ballot boxes, telling voters to get their papers in now.
We have a lot of people that signed up for the mail-in ballots, but we need them to drop it off. The election is Tuesday. There's some things going on with the Supreme Court as far as ballots being counted after Election Day, and maybe, you know, with the mail system, it may slow it up. So we want to make sure we get people to drop it off so that, you know, they can get their vote to be counted and get things done. Yeah, when you violate somebody's rights and frustration kicks in, it's going to be protests and it's going to be riots because people are frustrated. You got to understand, there are people that died for the right to vote. So violating that and taking their vote away is going to cause problems.
Can this once great democracy really be held hostage to the fortune of postal deadlines, counting speeds, and the whim of leaders as the world awaits for its decision? America's third president, Thomas Jefferson, reminded his people America does not have government by the majority, but by the majority who participate. Simpler times, perhaps the quote needs a 2020 caveat. America's government by the majority who participate once the counting of their vote is done.